Pay close attention to your body the next time you find yourself in a room with a loved one who suddenly goes silent. Notice the subtle, involuntary tightening in your throat when someone slightly changes their tone of voice, or the invisible, freezing wall of cold detachment. Watch your breath grow shallow when you are about to speak your truth, or the unyielding, exhaustion-driven perfectionism that forces you to work. You look at these adult behaviors or a chronic need to fix people's problems, sudden flashes of panic, or your suffocating fear of emotional vulnerability, and you tell yourself a comforting lie. This is just who I am. This is my natural personality, born from my own conscious choices. But if we perform a deep, clinical, cognitive autopsy on your adult psyche, we find that your mind is not a sovereign fortress. Instead, it is a complex, hypervigilant grid of psychological defense mechanisms. You did not consciously choose your emotional reactions today. You were simply handed them, long before you had a vocabulary, and before you could even form permanent memories. Your nervous system was already programmed. Every time you shrink away from love or explode in irrational anger today, you are not acting as a free, sovereign adult. You are simply running a default software code written decades ago by the two most powerful, godlike figures of your early existence, your parents. To understand exactly how this silent, invisible programming operates within your daily life, we have to travel back into a forgotten mirror from your infancy. In 1975, Dr. Edward Tronick at Harvard University conducted a profoundly unsettling baseline developmental study known as the still-face experiment. The structural mechanics of the experiment were deceptively simple. A mother sits across from her 1-year-old infant, engaging in beautiful, highly coordinated interaction. The baby's nervous system is perfectly regulated, basking in the ultimate safety of emotional connection. Then, the psychological coordinator issues a cold command. The mother is instructed to turn her head away for a split second, and when she turns back, her face is an absolute blank slate. No anger, no sadness, no hatred. Pust. Complete. Total emotional vacancy. The mother is physically present, but psychologically, she has completely evaporated. Watch the immediate, catastrophic behavioral collapse of the child. For the first few seconds, the baby tries to rebuild the broken bridge. It smiles, points its tiny finger, coos, and waves its hands, expecting the mother to mirror its joy. But the mother remains a statue. Within 60 seconds, the infant's confusion warps into pure, raw panic. It screeches, arches its back in agony, and violently slams its toys against the high chair, attempting to wake the mother's soul up. When that desperate attempt fails, the infant completely collapses inward. It turns its entire body away, drops its head, and sinks into a state of helpless, quiet, and deeply traumatized withdrawal. This experiment proved a terrifying truth. A child's neurological survival is entirely dependent on the emotional feedback loop of their caretakers. The primitive brain cannot process cognitive excuses. When a parent is chronically distracted by a smartphone screen, emotionally spent from corporate burnout, or paralyzed by their own unaddressed depression and marital warfare, they are presenting a permanent, daily still face to their child. The infant's primitive brain processes this emotional silence as a lethal existential threat. My mirror is broken. My protector is dead. I am completely alone in a hostile, dangerous universe. To survive the absolute terror of that vacancy, your infant mind had to construct its very first emotional survival strategy. The exact strategy that is now solidified into the core of your adult personality. This emotional survival strategy is not just a collection of thoughts. It is physically carved into your neural architecture through 3 structural laws of childhood imprinting. The first layer is the attachment blueprint. In social psychology, Mary Ainsworth's strange situation matrix proved that how caretakers responded to your vulnerability dictated your brain's relationship map. If your parents were emotionally unpredictable warm one day and completely cold or distant the next, your amygdala entered a state of chronic imprinting an anxious attachment style. As an adult, This translates into an intense fear of abandonment. You become a chronic people pleaser and validation seeker because your template taught you love is a scarce resource. Conversely, if your parents shamed you for crying or rejected your vulnerability, your brain deployed a biological shield called dismissive avoidant attachment. You learned to suppress emotions to survive. Now, the moment an adult relationship requires true intimacy, your protective wall slams down. You pull away and find flaws in your partner to protect yourself, because your childhood blueprint whispers a terrifying warning. Reliance on another human being always results in absolute pain and rejection. The second layer is the internalized critic. When you are a child, your parents' voices are the absolute, unquestioned definition of objective reality. Your unformed brain cannot understand that a parent is shouting simply because they are struggling with financial stress or corporate exhaustion. When a parent repeatedly barks, "Why are you so clumsy? Why can't you do anything right?" Your developing mind swallows those toxic words whole. Your brain converts those exact external sentences into the permanent soundtrack of your own subconscious inner critic. That vicious voice inside your head today telling you that you are a failure is not your voice at all. It is the lingering ghost of frustration. The third layer is the stolen identity of parentification. In emotionally immature households, a dark psychological swap occurs. The child is forced to act as the emotional caretaker, the therapist, or the peacekeeper. You learn to bury your own needs completely. You wear a mask of hyper-responsibility. You carry this into adulthood as workaholism and a total lack of personal boundaries. You have been programmed to believe that your only value on earth is what you can perform, produce, or fix for others. But if we look even deeper into this psychological post-mortem, we confront the most painful, chilling truth of all. A concept behavioral scientists call the repetition compulsion. It is an unyielding law of human neurobiology that the human brain instinctively prefers a familiar pain over an unfamiliar joy. Familiarity equals safety to the primitive mind, even if that familiarity is abusive. Without radical, conscious intervention, your subconscious mind operates like a heat-seeking missile in your adult life. It actively, invisibly ignores healthy, stable, and peaceful partners because they feel boring or alien to your internal programming. Instead, your subconscious drives you straight into the arms of individuals who mimic the exact emotional flaws of your parents. If you had a cold, emotionally unavailable father, you will find yourself magnetically drawn to cold, emotionally unavailable lovers. You will spend years desperately trying to change them, believing you will retroactively heal the original wound of your childhood. You are running in a closed, tragic circle, turning your adult life into a copycat script of your past. Your parents were not evil monsters. They were simply broken children themselves, inheriting an unhealed generational trauma. They carved your personality out of their own unhealed scars, using the only rusty, damaged tools they possessed. Recognizing this is not about blaming your past. It is about achieving the radical maturity to see your family clearly. Without the distortion of anger or romanticized illusion, you cannot change the architectural foundation of the house you grew up in. The bricks have been laid, the scars have been carved, and the default software code has been installed deep within your nervous system. But the ultimate secret of your childhood psychology is that while your parents quietly laid the stones of your mental prison, they forgot the keys. The moment you become fully aware of the script, the automatic wires of the trap are disconnected. You break the matrix of generational programming by enforcing two radical rules of psychological sovereignty today. First, practice the inner autopsy. The next time you experience an explosive, irrational, emotional reaction, whether it is relationship insecurity or a burst of defensive rage, pause your body. Pause your body for 10 seconds. Trace the trigger backward into your history and ask yourself, is this reaction matching the reality of my present? Or am I just running a default script written for a scared, rejected 7-year-old child in my past? Awareness is the absolute antidote to compulsion. The moment you name the script, you stop being the actor and become the author. Second, commit to radical repentance. Stop waiting for your parents to change, to apologize, to understand your pain, or to finally give you validation. They cannot give you what they do not possess. You must step into the role of the mature, loving, and fiercely protective adult for your child. You must provide yourself with the firm boundaries, the absolute safety, and the unconditional acceptance that your childhood lacked. Open your eyes to the silent sculptors of your past. See the matrix of generational trauma. And remember, your lineage does not dictate your legacy. Thank you for exploring this opening file of family and childhood psychology with Human Secrets. If this deep dive helped you, make sure to subscribe. Leave your deepest thoughts in the comments. What is one habit you realize was carved into you by your parents? And how are you rewriting it today? Stay independent, stay compassionate to your inner child, and we will see you in the next chapter.